Hi, my name is Scott Dunn. We've been going through questions from the Certified Scrum Master class and the Certified Scrum Product Owner class and the Certified Agile Leadership class and the Certified this and that class. But I thought it'd be great if we didn't just answer the questions in the class, but if these are common questions, we do want to take them out to the public and let you guys know about it if it's any good. So I'm going to go through another question. This question is there a certain writing style for documenting requirements in the product backlog that is project management work? I write each task with a verb to start, or the system should. So as a project manager, that's what you normally do. And do we need to do that in terms of requirements in Scrum? So I'm going to back up 2 steps, 2 or 3, 2.5 steps, and say that keep in mind Scrum is very lightweight. It's the minimal viable process, so it's not very prescriptive. And contrast that with traditional project management, especially if you're looking from the PMI world. I know my experience of going through the PMP exam, all the formality and the structure of that, kind of like trying to handle any situation in the case. I'll make one comment that I just think we're moving at such a pace. It's really, really hard to figure out what's the right requirements format for technical, like a lift and shift. Hey, we're moving to a new database platform, or we're upgrading, the database versus upgrading application versus I'm writing something that we don't even know who the customers are, and all kind of craziness. It's hard to think about it. It's hard to find a one size fits all. I will recommend, since Scrum doesn't prescribe it, we'll go with the common format that most people use and some of the pros and cons of that. So the most popular format out there is the user story format. And you can see a real good treatment of this in the book, User Stories Applied by Mike Cohn, as well as his great e-learning training series, about 6 hours on just requirements and user stories. And that common format is as a, I want, so that. And just to be clear, the as a, we're trying to think of who this is for. It's not for the developer. So I don't say, as a developer, I want this and that. It's not for the product owner usually. So we're not saying as a product owner. We're trying to say as a, and we're looking at who the end user is and trying to be more user-centric, customer-centric, and have empathy and understand what a day in the life is like for them. So I think that that's all good. And that's just straightforward. Here's the feature, the functionality. And that's the more challenging part that gets left off the most often. And that is, what's the business value? Why are we doing this? And the reason I'm stressing that is that what I really want is to see that you're engaging, both the product owner and the dev team are engaging in a conversation about what's the optimal way to get that value. The product owner is the business value maximizer. They're trying to maximize the most bang for the buck on the spend of a development team. So they should come in with an idea like, here's what I'm after. And then we negotiate other ways that might be able to get there. I also think that's kind of like your lifesaver if you're the product owner for predictability, because I'd love to actually have 2, 3, 4 options to get us there. And 80-20 rule, most of the value, not just straightforward one directional requirements. Keep in mind, most developers are like, just tell me what you want. I don't want to guess. I don't want to figure out. Just tell me what the requirements are. So partly it could be because they've been beat down for missing requirements or doing something wrong. Partly because, why put in this effort and be wrong on their own sake? It doesn't feel good to be wrong. So just tell me exactly what you want. That does put the burden back on the product owner, on the business analyst. I don't know if that didn't feel collaborative to me that you put it all back on me. Hey, let's talk through it. And I think some of this should be. I don't want to sound mean or rude. I think some of it should be common sense. I don't need to tell you to click the X to close the window, right? You should know if I click the X, the window closes. So anything that's outside of the standard norms, I would want them to kind of, okay, let's detail that. It usually works this way. In this case, it doesn't. Most of the time we do X. In this case, we're doing Y. Yeah, specify those. So those are user stories. That's most of what people do. I think it can be a little cargo cult that we use user stories for everything, and I think there's a backlash for that. So I don't need a user story for upgrade SQL Server. I don't need to say, as a developer, I want the newest version of Microsoft SQL Server so that we don't get aged off of support. It's only been 10 years now, right? Just say upgrade the database. If they know what they need to do, then that's what we want to focus on. If it's a user-centric story, I'm not sure how to make the screen easier to use or simpler. Make it pop more, right? I don't know how to do that, so that's where we talk those things out. So that's one common format. There has been a bit of a shift in the movement towards what we call job stories, and Mike Cohn brings these up as well. And a job story format is simply when blank, I want to blank so that I can blank. Now those last two are pretty similar, right? I want blank so that blank, essentially. But the part that we're shifting off is we're getting rid of the as a. And that's because they feel it's irrelevant. What does that really matter? That's not, we're baking in assumptions and all that stuff. So let's just get to the situation. When? And I think there's plenty of times that makes sense. So when I make a deposit of $20 in the ATM, I want my balance to go up by $20 so I can, make sure it's working correctly, or that I have my money saved, or whatever that is. So that, I think there's plenty of times that makes sense, and I'm fine with that. I think shifting too far to say there's all these assumptions, but then fix that. Stop making assumptions. Go get the data from the users. Go talk to the users. Go get the data. Do something. Right? I don't want to just leave it there. So if you really feel like you're stuck in that, then okay. I just think a mix of those actually makes sense. And I think there's some of the technical ones like get her done. Bottom line is, for all this, I want us to visualize the work. You should be able to talk to your team and say, hey, what are you working on? And it's something in the sprint backlog. If you don't visualize the work, you've essentially lost the ability to manage that or get better at that. Collaborate on that, all that stuff. So I don't care what the work is. I just want to visualize the work. And I mean like work. There's some value we're getting from this. I don't want items in my backlog of, I went to another boring meeting. I mean, what value? We're not demoing any of that kind of stuff. Yes, I would demo even technical things. Here's our new upgrade. And it doesn't have to take long. Here's how we refactored this code. Technical debt, I think, is a key one. And that way we can measure some of these things and say, where are we really at? How much of our time is spent on maintenance versus new features? Those are all important metrics for the business. They're spending money on it. Are they getting what they expect or what they think? If you don't have it in there to make it visible, you can't really demonstrate and have data about where we're at. So just consider those things. Bottom line is there's not a specific format. There's best practices on how we do requirements in Agile, and that's usually going to be your user story. Take a look at job stories, and also sometimes just write technical things, the equivalent of get or done. Hope that's of some help. And if you have any questions, if that doesn't answer the question, just put a comment down below and we'll follow up with that. Or if you have other insights, you have an opinion on that, which there's no shortage of opinions out there, would love to hear that as well, and keep the conversation going. Hope that's of some help. Good luck on your journey.